28th of February. Welcome again to Mega Sports. My name is Passionate Man. They say that good things comes to those who wait. What a word we're leaving now, talking about football today. Tonight, I've got a beautiful show for you. It's the maiden edition of Mega Sports here 2022. And we went on a little break, but we're back here once again, here to engage with you, talk about what's trending in Ghana, of course, also to discuss the most important matches ahead of time that's about to come. Now, tonight, Black Stars of Ghana will play Nigeria, of Super Eagles of Nigeria, in a classic encounter that, of course, we'll all be watching come back in this month. 25th of March will be the first edition where Black Stars will host the Super Eagles of Ghana in Cape Coast, the capital of the Central Region. And of course, the 29th of March as well, the Black Stars will be going to Abuja. Who will make it to Qatar 2022 is the biggest question on our table tonight, where we'll be talking. Very soon, I'll go for a quick break. And when I come back, of course, I'm going to introduce to you my guest of tonight, a man that's well endowed in sports, and I'll be hearing his views on what he thinks about the Black Stars. Will they qualify? What are the chances of the Black Stars? How can we not talk about Ukraine? FIFA, of course, UEFA has also placed a ban on all Russian teams. Don't forget the Zenit St. Petersburg was going to host the Champions League this year, 2021-2022 season. But UEFA has finally moved the location to Paris. So Paris will be the final destination for this year's UEFA Champions League final. And also, FIFA has banned all Russian teams from competing in FIFA competitions this season for the rest of the season indefinitely. We don't know when FIFA is going to also reinstate Russia in there. But at the moment, all is looking gloomy for Ukraine as well. I say a prayer for Ukraine. And of course, we want peace in the world. And football promotes peace. Don't forget that. Politics always brings division, they say. Football or sports promotes peace. But we'll go for a quick break. When I come back, a lot of action. Don't flip it down. Mega Sports. All right, welcome back. Black Stars of Ghana will be making it straight to competition with Super Eagles. But before that, let me introduce to you my guest tonight. Is this fine gentleman, Michele. Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Okay. All right. Straight into the action. Black Stars of Ghana, big game, 25th of March.
Yeah.
Black Stars play Super Eagles of Nigeria in Cape Coast in Ghana. Take us through the state of Ghana football now, especially with the team Black Stars, looking at the abysmal performance, that just went by this AFCON. What do you think? Do they have a chance at all?
Well, from what we've seen so far, I think it's about time. I think the team gets into good shape. I don't actually blame them too much for this AFCON games. I don't think they had enough time to actually gel together, play together as a team. Well, now going towards playing Nigeria, which is a massive game for the nation entirely, they would have to, come together as a unit and work together with both coach, manager. I don't know how they're going to work together, but I believe with Chris and Otto on the team, I think they can both come in with their experience and help the team.
Now, you talked about Chris and Otto Addo. We'll be talking about Chris and Otto Addo very, very soon. But let's look at the squad. The biggest criticism has been about the quality of players that we took to the AFCON this year.
Yeah.
People have criticized the team that perhaps wasn't the best of players that that should have represented the red, gold, green, the red, gold, and green and black stars that supposedly that was meant to represent us. What's your view? What do you think about the quality of players? Do you think that the Black Stars was fairly represented by the right players, or we could have done better?
Well, again, the players we had, they did their best, and of course, it wasn't enough. We have very good players out there that couldn't represent us for one reason or the other. Some of them for personal reasons, and I think with this new management might be able to motivate them to come back. It's very important that we get all these players back into the national team and as soon as possible, because they need also to gel, play with the team that is currently on, and understand each other's way of playing. And if we can get all these players back, I think we do stand a great chance to play Nigeria.
Some of the most biggest names that we've been hearing today has been the Callum Hudsons of the Chelseas and the Salisu also of Southampton, and we're hearing of Tariq Lamptey of all these players of Brighton. All these guys, we're hearing a long list of players. Would they improve our quality? Would they make a difference to the squad? Perhaps probably because they play in the Premiership. Would they improve it?
I mean, certainly. When you play in the Premier League, there is a reason why we call it the Premier League, isn't it? The quality of football that you be playing day in, day out. It shows in the worldwide. We all know the quality of it. And these players are in the Premier League. And of course, Ghana needs them now. And we shouldn't make this a dilemma. We need to obviously do whatever it takes, to accommodate them into the team. I believe, yes, if they come in the team, it will be a massive improvement. As I said, they've not played in the Ghana team for a long time. So we shouldn't expect an instant change.
Some might not have been playing, not even a single game yet.
Precisely. So it's going to be a gradual process. And we might not see the actual outcome now, but with a gradual process, you'll be looking into the future. The best outcome will be we beat Nigeria, get into the World Cup, and then they will have the time to obviously get used to the Ghana style of football.
Okay, well, in case you're just tuning in, we're talking about, we're looking ahead of the fixture. Ghana Black Stars will host the Super Eagles of Nigeria come 25th of March in Cape Coast Central Region, the capital of the Central Region. And 4 days later, the Black Stars of Ghana will travel to Abuja, where they'll be playing the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Abuja. Will the Black Stars of Ghana qualify for Qatar 2022 this year? For the first time, a World Cup will be played in the winter, because Qatar is too hot. So it's only right that it's played in the winter. But we're still looking at a build-up towards it. The players. Now let's take a look about some of the players. We've spoken about the incoming players, or quote unquote players that might come into the team.
Yeah.
Another school of thought has also said to us that most of these players do not want to come now. They were hoping to see the Black Stars qualify, and when they can join the team, they're not too sure of the team yet. So where lies, the strength of the team if these players does not come to beef up the team? Having in mind Nigeria, even though they got kicked out of the AFCON, they look like a better organized, stronger side than the Black Stars.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You mentioned Nigeria. I think the players they've got now are actually playing well. They're compact. They know each other's movement. They're working together very well. They work together. I think they've synchronized very well, and that's why they have that edge. So we will need that commitment from these incoming players to come in. The earlier, the better. To also come in and gel with the current team and obviously understand the style of play that the new management want to play, because that also is a factor.
So I'll ask you now, Sule Ali Muntari, he's back to the Ghana Premier League, and I watched him. He's still got the touch. His silky, nimble footed is still there. Because people are arguing that we need to blend experience with the youth. Does that put Sule into the team? Does he warrant about 10, 20 minutes? Can he make a difference? What do you think, though?
Sule is a world-class player. I mean, having played in all the best teams in Italy, I would say, and on the high levels as well, and in England, in the Premier League. I mean, he's a player that we already know his caliber.
Yeah.
Age-wise is where I'm a bit concerned if he will be able to, withstand this sort of high pressure football. I think age-wise, we might consider giving the youngsters a chance to improve their skills and also maybe get to that level that he had already been.
Okay, so great. We're still here. We're talking about the states of Ghana, Black Stars now. The Black Stars of Ghana will be playing the Super Eagles of Nigeria this month. Yes, it's this month, 25th of March. 2022, and 4 days later we're in Abuja playing the Super Eagles in our away match in Abuja. Will the Black Stars of Ghana qualify for Qatar 2022? A big talking point here in the studios where I'm talking to my guest Michele, and we're still discussing about the Black Stars and the strength, if the squad has got in-depth strength in there to qualify. Now let's look at the biggest talking point, the management of the team. News broke a couple of weeks ago that Chris Hughton was going to take over the team. Yeah. Less than 24 hours, we heard that Chris Hughton is now the technical director. 63-year-old Chris Hughton, well over 20-something plus years experience in the Premier League. Otto Addo, a young coach, young scout, has been given the nod ahead of Chris Hughton. The GFA's explanation was because he knew the squad. Now, does that play a role, or would that be very significant to our qualifications at all? Should we even qualify for the Black Stars?
Yeah. Well, without getting too much deep into the technicalities, you could literally see that one was a chosen of the Ministry of Sports, the other was the Ghana FA chosen. Somehow they had to come together and work it out. Chris has a very big CV behind him. His experience alone,
of course,
not to mention, teams like Brighton,
Newcastle.
He literally built that team from scratch. Newcastle,
Norwich.
So many teams to mention. I mean, he's been to Tottenham, and to be fair, I personally thought he was going to be the manager of the team. The issue is going to be how the two are going to work together, because what if there's a bit of friction? Chris wants a certain style and Otto wants so this formation could actually work, or it could actually backfire, and it wouldn't be very good for the national team if the two don't get on.
But I mean, it's now or never, because we have to qualify for the Black Star for the World Cup. It's football is a very fundamental part of our game in Ghana, and it binds the whole country together. Talking about politics, everyday politics here and there, and the Black Stars would have to qualify, as we all know. But anyway, now finally on the Black Stars, let's touch on the quality of players we do have now. Of course, some are saying that the likes of the Andre Ayus and the Jordans and the Wakasis and some of these players that have served us very, very well in the last few years, been there very resilient and played for the Black Stars. Perhaps some are saying that they've gone past their best. Do you agree that we need new energy, fresh legs in there to carry, the colours ahead going forward?
As you mentioned, that they've actually served the nation. I think they've been extraordinary since they joined the national team. I mean, you can't always fault them for us losing games, and it's a collective game. Football is, and when you lose as a team. Yes, fresh new legs, I think, will not be bad at all. I still think they've got a lot to still contribute towards the Black Star, and maybe the day has still got
a bit more energy in him.
Yeah, I think one more World Cup
wouldn't be bad at all.
Wouldn't be bad at all. Yeah.
Okay, you just heard from Michele. He says one more World Cup for Andre Ayew won't be bad, and the likes of the Jordan Ayew and all these players. One more World Cup won't be bad. But would the Black Stars of Ghana, would they make it to Qatar this year, 2022? Is the biggest talking point or the biggest question mark that we're all trying to solve here as a puzzle on the table that we're trying to put the piece together. But anyway, we'll go for one break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the impact, of course, what is happening around the world now. We'll be looking at Qatar, and also we'll be looking at Russia, we'll be looking at Ukraine, we'll be looking at how it's impacted football generally across the world. UEFA, like I said before, has also moved the venue for Champions League final from Zenit St. Petersburg to Paris now. So Paris, of course, will host the final of the Mundial of the European Champions League. And of course, also, we'll be looking at FIFA, who has placed ban on all Russian teams that won't be making it this year, 2022. So big talking point in football. Sports has reacted. Politicians are reacting. So we'll be right back on Mega Sports. Don't flip it. All right, so welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the reaction of sports, also in the whole issue of Ukraine, Russia. Finally, sports has reacted. We thought politicians were only going to react, but the sportsmen and women have finally reacted. FIFA, UEFA, and other nationals have also reacted. Poland were one of the first teams, national teams to react, saying that they were not going to play their Russian counterparts, and we've seen other teams showing the same faith as well. Now, finally, the ruling bodies, FIFA and UEFA, has reacted. Now, your thoughts on FIFA and UEFA's reaction with Russia banning them and also moving the venue from Zenit St. Petersburg?
I think this is an unprecedented situation which FIFA has to deal with it on the sports as well, and I think they've taken the right measures to not affect football as an individual, because you have to differentiate politics
and sports.
Yeah. So that's why they had to tread very carefully to make sure that they don't breach that and get too political.
Of course.
And FIFA doesn't want to give that impression that ultimately they side with who or whoever. They've chosen the path of we want peace, which is what everyone wants. No war, a peaceful world, that's all we're all looking forward to. And I think the Russian Football Association, as an entity, should be allowed to play their football on a neutral ground, away from Russia.
So you agree that Russia should play their football on a neutral ground?
Yeah. I don't see why not. The situation is going to be if Poland now pulls out and decide not to play, then the points actually goes to Russia, because then Russia takes the 3 points. You can't really blame the Russian football team for what is going on now. There's not a direct link to them. They have little or less involvement or power to even make any changes to this.
But that some school of thoughts will also say that also they represent the colours, and if there's a reaction coming from politicians, if there's a reaction coming from other sportsmen and women, if there's a reaction coming from humanitarians and everyone around the world, sports as a powerful tool could be used as a force to perhaps stop the war. So I get your point. I understand where you're coming from. Innocent footballers, but of course wearing the colours of Russia. So
yeah, there is measures in place as supposed to them and actually playing and standing for Russia itself, they now will be representing just the football confederation of Russia, really, and that would then defranchise themselves from the Russian state itself. Hey, it's politics. And when it's politics, FIFA is actually pushed to that side where they have to come in with measures that doesn't involve politics. And I think the best thing to do is not to have innocent casualties.
Okay, so you heard from Michele. He says that the best thing to do is not to have innocent casualties. Well, stop throwing the toys out of the pram. Stop throwing the toys out of the pram. It's politics, and of course we have to throw it very carefully and know what we're doing. That sports is here to maintain peace and also bring unity among all of us here. And Germany World Cup 2006, the German says making friends, and we saw Russia 2018. So Russia has been at the forefront as well, trying to also bridge the gap with the rest of the world. Especially coming from old Soviet Union, the USSR. But a certain Mr. Putin finally decided to strike Ukraine. And here we are again talking about a third world war. We hope not, but it's getting very quite serious. Now, finally, we're going for our final break. And once we come back, we'll be looking at, Liverpool, one of the biggest sides so far, winning the Carabao Cup, beating Chelsea as well in the splendid, nerve-wracking, amazing football final, one of the best that we've seen in the last few years. And we're looking at the Premiership. It's getting keener and keener and keener. Who's going to snatch the winner? We'll be right back. Don't flip the dial. Mega Sports. All right, so welcome back. We're in the final phase of our show, and quickly we're looking at Liverpool Chelsea. Arguably one of the best games we've seen in the last few years. Amazing game, 10-11 on penalties. He took goalkeepers to make the difference. Can you believe that? 22 players on the pitch, and he took the two goalkeepers to make the difference. Now, what was your view about the game, the missed chances, the nervousness, the anxiety? Now take us through. What was your view, your general view about the game?
Yeah, well, as Arsenal fan, let's put it this way.
Okay.
Obviously, I wasn't supporting
any of the two teams,
but it was an amazing game. I think one of the best cup finals we've seen for the last decade.
Definitely.
Both teams actually came for it. They were ball going up and down. They were chasing every passage of the game. You couldn't really take your eyes off it.
It was such an open splendid game, football match. And the two attacking sides.
Precisely. My only issue was bringing a substitute goalkeeper on, and you've already got a world-class keeper. But personally, I think that's where
Thomas Tuchel felt that because he works with the players day to day, and so he thought that Kepa was much better when he did come to penalties. But he did that once, and he sailed Chelsea through.
Yes, but that was too much pressure to put on the young kid. I think him coming on and then again having to kick a penalty spot as well. It was a bit too much. I literally saw him before he missed. I felt it that he was going to miss because of how the game was going. You could literally read it.
But don't you think that from a technical side as well, they knew who he was and his abilities and his qualities, and they trained with him day to day. Don't forget that.
I do know that, but till that point, there's not been any issue to bring a keeper on. And he might have his reasons, because obviously on the training ground, he might be the best when it comes to penalties, shootouts. But I would sometimes I say, just let it be. If things are going well, just allow it to go on.
But Chelsea, with the biggest and for me the most all-rounder squad this season, you know, the people tipped them they were going to win the Champions League or they were going to win the Premiership. We know they're not going to win the league now. 100% sure. They're still in the race in the Champions League.
Well,
they still got a chance.
Mathematically, yes.
You know, of course, we know they're not going to win the league now. Well, we do know they do have a chance in the Champions League at one more time, and they just lost on the on the Carabao Cup final as well. Now, do you think that Thomas Tuchel has enough under his belt to turn the team around? I mean, considering Pep Guardiola, how he started this season a bit low, and you know, Jurgen Klopp managed so well, also in absence of the African brothers, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, Keita, and they are in the race now. Do you think that Thomas Tuchel lacks the experience of the Premier League?
I think he's a very good manager. The issue here is he's brought in players, and it seems like it's not actually working. And I'll mention Lukaku. The game doesn't suit him. I mean, I think Tuchel was really behind the Lukaku move because he actually believed in him without thinking of putting the mechanism in place for him to actually thrive. He's lost in the team at the moment, I feel.
But that's the job of the manager tactically, to also locate Lukaku. And if you spend that amount of money, over £90 million on a player, and you're not using him rightly, I think that is too much to ask of a player who's not receiving services, who the ball is being played mainly around, and it's not, you know, it's just like Egyptian mummy sitting somewhere, and the players are just running around him. So don't you think that's a tactical play that is, you know,
I think there was a tactical dip there. I think he, in all round, for Lukaku would gel in the Chelsea style of game, but it was actually the other way around. Chelsea had to adapt to Lukaku's style of game, which obviously is not working out now. And I think maybe one more season for him, you know, just for them to go back on the drawing board and bring in the right players as well, you know, because Lukaku is an upfront player, and for what he's being pushed to do, he seems to be struggling a lot.
Now, I mean, we cannot talk about this season and not talk about Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. I mean, these boys have been very, for me, these African boys have been very instrumental in Liverpool's approach this season, and year to year, season after season, we see great high standards from these boys, and they've been consistent as well, which is very unique about, you know, their style of play. Their pairing is also one of the best that we've seen in the Premiership in the last decade or so. Now, Liverpool are just on the verge of closing the gap between City. Let's look at the final race. We've got only a few matches to the end of the season now. Who do you think has got that upper nod to win the league?
I think there is a hidden surprise in the Premier League. I think if you asked me this question a month ago, probably I would just say City.
Yeah, definitely.
But at this current moment, I think, you know, judging us as well from City's last game and how lucky they were not to concede that penalty, which I believe was a penalty.
Of course, it was a penalty.
It was.
But referee didn't.
Well, VAR, hey, I don't know. There is a lot to. I think this is what makes it much more exciting. I mean, from now to the end of the Premier League season, I think every game now counts. Every game.
Now we're in the Lions Den now. Who will be the king of the jungle? Well, we're talking about the Premier League is a final push now. Will it be Liverpool? Will it be City? City are still the leaders of the league. They're playing so well. They won the last game on the skin of their teeth. almost nicked 1-0, and they got that victory finally to also extend their lead on the Premier League. But will Liverpool, the boys in red, will they come back? Will they show them that they are here to win the league this season? Time will tell. We only got a few matches to the end of the season, and we're finding out who will be crowned the king of English football. Very, very exciting season to also watch and look forward to as well. Now, finally, let's have a discussion. City has one of the biggest games, or one of the biggest derbies, if you take perhaps El Clasico and the Milan derby, or Milan derby and City derby, probably at par. One of the biggest derbies in the world. City plays United. Now, would that be the deciding factor for Liverpool climbing up, overtaking, or would that be a game that will hand Liverpool the title, or will strengthen City's advantage even more?
Well, it's a massive derby, the old Manchester derby, and I believe with the current way City are playing now, one would think, they're not at their best at the moment. What makes the big teams different from the smaller teams is to find that little brilliance to actually, score that 1-goal, 1-0 game. I think it's going to be a very tight game against United, and it's a derby game, of course, and you need to watch out. There are still players, old foxes in the box. Ronaldo, who will be looking to impress. Man U currently haven't been at their best. And I think this is their spotlight. This is the spotlight for them to actually prove to their fans what they can do. And they might want to go out there and hit City where it hits. Let's not forget, City still has to play Liverpool.
Big one.
So there is a lot of pressure for them
to. Big one.
Exactly. So there's a lot of pressure for them to actually win this derby, because if that's not the case, then Liverpool will be rubbing their hands.
Okay. If that's not the case, Liverpool will be rubbing their hands. They are old foxes in the boxes. So you heard that from Michele, an astute Spurs pundit who understands his game, and he knows, and he's saying that whether this is a chance for City to show what they can do. If not, Liverpool will be smiling to the title once again. Already they've got one in the back this season. Will they be able to maintain the second one? The league is looking exciting from the bottom as well. We can see Watford and Norwich and Burnley. Also the battle still goes on. Everton, Leeds United, Brentford and Newcastle seem to be surviving at the moment. Eddie Howe, of course, coming in and making a difference for Newcastle. Bringing in the likes of the Trippiers and all these guys coming through who are making changes to Newcastle's style of football. But Arsenal also pushing for the top four. West Ham, what a season West Ham has had so far this season. Amazing season. Go Hammers, the boys from East London. They're showing that this season they are on the top level now. Chelsea, a team that many thought that they were going to do so well this season, possibly win the league. Unfortunately, Chelsea couldn't win the league. Mathematically, we know they won't be able to win the league. Of course, they will finish in the top four, and they deserve to finish in the top four. But who will be the next team to finish in the top four? City on top, Liverpool second, Chelsea, Manchester United, top 4 teams. And the top 9 teams will be West Ham, Arsenal and Tottenham. And of course, followed by Wolverhampton Wanderers, who've had a great season. And the Saints, we're talking about Southampton, where Ghana's own Salisu plays there as well. What a season the Premiership is turning out to be. Arguably the most watched league in the world. So this is where we are going to bring down our final curtain. But before then, a big talking point. Kylian Mbappe giving hints you could perhaps or probably stay at Paris Saint-Germain, or will he move to Real Madrid end of the season as well? That's another talking point. We'll also be looking at that issue and topic come next week, Monday. Kumasi Asante Kotoko on the local league are doing so well. Accra folk seem to be fairly not playing excellently, even with the introduction of Sulali Muntari, an astute footballer, achieved medals and played great height of football for Ghana Black Stars and his contribution all the way from under 22, his professional career, of course, still back now into Accra Folk in Ghana and making a difference. We expect a lot of more professionals coming back home to aid the local league to improve its quality as well. Anyway, of course, we'll be looking more into other sporting issues come next week, Monday. But we hope, once you get to bed, say a prayer for Ukraine. We want peace. We don't want war. Thank you so much. Good evening.